another episode of oh, Welcome back to another episode of In El Barrio, where we like to showcase Latine and Latine-owned businesses in the DFW Metroplex with 97.9 The Beats. And I am literally so excited because summertime's right in the corner, right? So that means you gotta know your local paleta man. But this just isn't any paleta man. This is the paleta man. He is representing all of the Mexican culture we like to call Sabor a Michoacan. Welcome everybody to Daniel Sanchez.
Hi, everybody.
Hey Daniel, look, I am so grateful for you to be on the show. Like I said, this show is all about showcasing Latine-owned businesses and culture and how we actually an influence of the culture from the beginning of time, essentially. And I know that's one of the big things that you use as your navigator. So I like to start with our background. So, background, where is your family from and how did you end up in Texas?
So my family going way, way back. My mom's side is from Michoacan. My dad's side is from Guanajuato. But
Okay.
yeah, my mom's side is from Michoacan, which is kind of where all this paleta stuff really comes from. It's kind of been in my family for my mom's side for years and years. Also, my stepfather, who came into the picture a little later, but his family is like deeply, deeply rooted. His is like really, really rooted in all that stuff. Like great great grandparents kind of like were the founders of La Michoacana, which is kind of the staple of the paleterias and all that. So it's been
Yes.
really, really in the family for many years. Me, myself, I grew up in Chicago. I was born in California, but moved to
Okay.
Chicago as a baby. Spent pretty much my whole life there. And then just kind of the past few years, I met my girlfriend and she moved down here. And it kind of coincided with my mom kind of semi-retiring. So I was like, you know what?
Mhm.
It's time to try somewhere new. Moved down here with my girlfriend to Dallas, and then decided to kind of open my own thing, kind of start over, start fresh.
Yeah, yeah. And let's run it back because honestly, you were at the epicenters of Mexican Latino culture because you born in Cali. Cali Mexican is a whole
Yeah.
experience. Then, people don't realize there's a huge population of Mexicanos in Chicago as well. So for
Oh yeah.
those two your home bases, what would you say the difference is between like the Chicano culture of like California compared to like Chicago?
Uh, I don't know. LA or like California is very close to like Mexico itself, so it's very very close to just authentic Mexico. Chicago's a little more, I would say, industrial. People are just like really focused on the job. It kind of integrates a little more with like city culture. So there's slight differences, but overall, I would honestly say it's pretty close to the same. Obviously, the
Okay.
weather impacts it a lot. So people in LA
True.
are more like uh, I don't know, more summer feel to it. And Chicago, it's you got to adjust a little bit, but overall, it's pretty similar.
Yes, and now you've made it to the best part of Chicano Mexicano culture here in Dallas.
Yep,
So
yep.
for Texas, for how does the Texas culture and how we represent Mexicanos differ from those two places?
Similarly, like kind of how I said, Chicago is like more city vibe. Here,
Okay.
it's definitely a little more like ranchero, more Western. Um, but I actually really enjoy it. It's a little more laid back, a little more like just slower paced. But that's probably the main difference. But I
Yeah.
kind of like it. I like the change.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you made it down here. Like I said, you came literally. How many years has it been that you've been down here in Dallas now?
Living here, I moved here in 2021, so about 3 years.
Three
Yeah, a
years.
little over
Okay.
3 years. Mhm.
First off, now we're home. Have to be
Yep,
home. Uh,
exactly.
so how does your mom feel about you continuing her legacy, but as well being kind of in between Michoacan and Chicago to do it?
Yeah, no, I mean, she loves it. She's been helping me every step of the way. Thankfully, I have had someone there. She doesn't live here, so I've been doing a lot of like the labor stuff myself. But she's been really, really helping me with like the structure of everything and like keeping the vibe of the brand kind of true to Mexico. So she's been with me every step of the way. It's been great, and she loves it. So yeah.
Yes, yes. So, because again, your mom is from La Michoacan, or Michoacan. What do you think? Do you get to visit home or her home a lot?
I did. I honestly haven't been back in probably like 8 years or so. So it's been a while, but growing up, yeah, we would go almost every year. So
Yeah. Do you feel like
yeah.
also being able to actually physically see, like, where all of this culture has started from? Do you feel like that really impacted like your journey of like continuing on this path and being a family legacy? Because in the background, you as an entity, I actually wore this shirt for you. It's Salute the DJ because you're high key a
Oh,
DJ,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
I am.
So I was
That's
gonna say,
great.
so yeah, and I was gonna say, so like, what made you like put your passion for DJing and music to the side and be like, I'm gonna be a business owner. I'm gonna keep on the legacy and tradition. Was it because of the influence of being able to see the roots from back home, or what made that change?
Yeah, essentially. I just kind of wanted something that could be a little more long term. Just kind of wanted to invest in a company and kind of build something for myself. The DJing was fun, but it was always kind of like a side thing in a sense.
Mm,
It was just something I kind of did for myself. But this kind of seems like something that I could actually build and maybe even pass on to future generations after me. So it
yeah,
kind of just seemed more like a long term plan.
gotcha. So you're not bringing out the boards at the Michoacan around the corner, are you?
No, no, not typically. No.
Special occasions, we might figure it out. Okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
maybe.
Well, one thing about your leadership and now being an owner, I know one thing that you've noted as well, like basically being boss man, being the jefe is kind of
Mhm.
different because, telling people what to do and like having people want to support your vision as much is not always the easiest thing. So how do you feel like you've gone about as a managerial owner for recruiting people to work for you and keeping
Mhm.
them there?
Yeah, no, it's probably honestly been the hardest part of this whole thing.
Mhm.
Like the work and everything else, like I have no problem doing. I can work all day if I have to, but like actually having to manage employees and things like that has been probably the biggest adjustment for me. Um, I'm more of like I just kind of like doing everything myself. So it's like it's hard for me to like tell them to do something when I'm like, well, you know what, I'll just do it because I know how I want to do it, and I'll just
That's
do it. But yeah, just kind of learning how to like actually have them do something and getting better at actually training and showing by example. A lot of times I'm here working with them, like serving customers and doing stuff that they do in the front. So a
Mhm.
lot of times I'll talk, like I try and act more as a team member than an actual boss, and that kind of helps a little bit, kind of relaxes the environment a little more. But
Right.
there's definitely still stuff I'm learning about it, but it's been going pretty well so far, so no complaints. But
Good. Does your mom give you any advice? Because I mean, she knows the game. Does she give you any advice of how to navigate that?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I call her all the time. I'm like, what would I do here? Or like, this person isn't, doing this, or I need them to do this, and she kind of definitely gives me a lot of advice. So,
So, what is the best advice that your mom has given you, just in general in life or business related? What do you whichever?
probably just to have faith that things will work out the way they're supposed to eventually. There's been lots of times where it seems like literally everything is going wrong in a week here. Like maybe it's a little slower, the machine breaks down, this happens, and like you just feel like you're like, what do I have to do just to make things go right? And she kind of levels me back, grounds me a little bit, and just tells me like, as long as you have faith and just keep doing the things you're supposed to do, eventually everything comes back to where it's supposed to be. So
Yeah.
just kind of keeping my head focused is what she's been the best at.
No, for real. And I was gonna say, and I know one thing that you've also said is that you have like part of the driving force is understanding that like Mexicanos, like, we work hard. Okay. Like when you go to Mexico, on every corner, you see like vendors selling all kinds of things, selling toys, selling everything else in between. So do you feel like whenever you are going about and attacking some of those mental games, like, do you think about them? Like, how do, like, what I'm saying? Like, what is that experience like whenever the reality is, you're here and you have a degree, like you could do
Hmm.
anything in the world, but you're really still out here, being
Yeah,
the
yeah,
man.
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think about that all the time, and I think about how they came here and just immediately went to work, and they've been working pretty much my whole life. Like, there's been no break. So I always think about that too. I'm like, if they were able to do it, why can't I? So that definitely always keeps me motivated to just keep working at the bare
Beautiful.
minimum. Just keep working, and things will play out the way they're supposed to.
Absolutely. And then luckily you have clearly a great woman on your team because I know you mentioned you have a girlfriend that got you all the way down here. Does she help with your company at all?
She does. She helps when she can. Obviously, she's very busy as well. But
Yeah.
similar to like what my mom does. She kind of keeps me grounded a lot of times and gives me like good advice or like good criticisms of stuff that maybe I need to work on, things like that that really, really help in the long run, just kind of keep me focused and keep me going.
Absolutely, absolutely, because
Mhm.
it's not an easy job, and women, you got to have a strong women team around you to keep it going. Because even me, as
Always.
you got to keep women around you to keep it going. So, with that being said, I got to get into the sabores because,
Mhm.
yo, I privileged to have tasted. But one thing about it is, again, bringing the sabor de Mexico to your paletas. So, let's get into what you got. Like, what is your top selling flavors overall?
Top selling flavors, obviously the traditional ones always sell the most, like Oreo, cookies and cream, strawberry, chocolate, vanilla. Like people just love those. But as far as like the more authentic flavors, people really love the mame, which is kind of like this. It's a fruit. I don't really know how to describe it. It kind of has like
Right.
almost a pumpkin like taste to it. It's kind of
Mhm.
like pulpy like that. But that one's actually very popular. People don't really know about it, but once they sample it, they love it. Um, the lime one is always a classic. Mango, obviously. Strawberry cheesecake. I mean, gansito. People love all those. So
So
those
good.
are probably the top sellers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I know that you're starting when you started out, you did like a lot of pop-ups, but you're at a brick and mortar now. So
Mhm.
from the difference of pop-ups to brick and mortar, what would you say you prefer more when it comes to people like finding you?
I mean, the brick mortar is great. Obviously, it's kind of the foundation, and we make everything here at the actual brick and mortar. So it's kind of the more traditional place to do it. The pop ups are great, and I do love being there and like meeting all the people like in person and stuff like that. But the
Yeah.
brick and mortar is kind of where it's at mostly because we also sell other stuff too, like elotes and snacks and all that. So
Absolutely. He said, no, it's not. Look, I got it all right here. One stop shop.
a little bit
I
everything.
little bit of everything, a little bit of everything. And with you being down here in Dallas for it's going on 4 years now, um, when it comes to the cultura of Dallas and other like Latina owned business and stuff, how has that been for you? Kind of like sliding in a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been great so far. Like it's been cool, especially at the pop ups and markets and stuff. That's where you really get to like be right next to other businesses that are working, and everyone's just been super friendly, helpful. It's been honestly really cool meeting a lot of the different types of businesses. There's like food, candies, other ice cream. Like it's been honestly awesome. Just kind of putting myself in here and offering what I have to offer, but also just meeting the other people.
I love it. I love it so much. Okay, look, I have a secret. For the summertime, I was like, I got to do something por mis primos, okay? So, sometimes I don't let's play everything that I want to play on the actual airwaves. So I'm starting a new thing called the Por mis primos playlist. And I
Mhm.
have to know, I want all people that I'm interviewing, give me one song that you're like, you got to put that on the playlist. I don't care. It's por mis primos. What would you recommend?
One song. Let's see. Um, hmm. Growing up, we were big fans of Banda Machos.
Okay.
So I would have to add La Culebra. That was always my favorite one. It's a nice
Okay.
it's kind of dancey, kind of cumbia-ish a little bit, but it's like it was always the jam growing up. And to this day, I still jam out to it. So if I had
Come
to add
on.
one, it would probably be that one. Keep it a
Okay.
little traditional.
Period. Thank you. That's beautiful. And that's perfect because that's exactly the vibe we're going for all
Okay.
summer long. No, sincerely, that's exactly what all summer long. So I was going to say one last thing because I know your time is valuable and you got a whole business to run. Um, is there any way that people who maybe aren't on your side of town, which is, can you drop the address real quick?
Yeah, so we're at 3420 West Illinois Avenue, Suite 600. We're kind of on the corner of Illinois, Westmoreland, and Oak Cliff. There's a big Fiesta Mart there, so kind of in that
Okay.
little shopping area.
I'm gonna pull up on you today. Don't even worry about it. But for other people who can't make it to that side of town, is there any other things that, any other ways that they can, connect with you or pull up on you or something like that?
Yeah, I mean they can follow the most like site where I do the most engagement is Instagram, so they could follow their Sabor Mitch, SABORMICH.
Yes.
We do have like TikTok and Facebook and stuff, but kind of Instagram is where I post most things. A lot of times we'll do pop ups, markets, things like that, and that's where I'll post it. So
Beautiful. Well, I appreciate you. I was gonna say, like I said, it's the perfect time. I had it before summer gets too hot. I had to make sure they knew where to go to hit up your spot. Again, I appreciate you because I know for a fact that you are truly honing in on the culture of Mexicano specifically and staying true to the hard work and the actual good parts of all Mexicanos that I've ever come into contact with. So I appreciate you so much for being that beautiful representation. I know your mom is super proud. And again, thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Sanchez, for allowing us some of your time. Make sure to go follow him, like he said, at Sabor Mich, as well as go visit him if you can. Meet me there if you actually can. And I will see you next week for our next episode of In El Barrio with 97.9 The Beat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, sincerely. I was going to
Yeah.
say, I know I've been working to maybe do an extended, like longer podcast with people that I have interviewed, just
Okay.
because in like 10, 15 minutes, I can't get the juicy stuff because I like to
Yeah,
dig in juicy, all the
yeah.
good stuff. It's just more so like an introduction. So
Mhm,
if you're open to it, I know you have the Carne Asada Fest coming up, but send me
mhm.
sometime after the Carne Asada Fest before we get too much in the heat of
Yeah.
summer. We coordinate that if that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Let me know. I'll
Okay.
definitely would like to do that. Great.
Yeah, and then hopefully your lady can be nearby because then she'll have the good dirt.
Yeah. Of course, of
Okay.
course.
Yay, good, good. Okay, well, thank you again, Daniel. I'm gonna let you go on about your day. And usually we'll be posting it. It usually will go up like Friday or Saturday to the actual YouTube, but we'll post it on our story, on our website at thedfw.com on Sunday, as well as on our story. And then I will have a little blip of this interview that I'm gonna play on the radio, usually around 10 a.m. on Sunday as
Okay.
well.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you again. I'm gonna let you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't be judging me if I come in and order a lot of food. Okay.
Nah, hey, anytime you want. Thank you very
But
much.
thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.